Muchísimas gracias, señor vicepresidente, estimados embajadores, colegas, profesores, damas y caballeros. En principio, me gustaría expresar lo feliz que me siento por estar hoy aquí en la sede del Consejero Argentino para las Relaciones Internacionales. Me gustaría agradecer al CARI y a sus miembros por el interés de presenciar esta corta conferencia acerca de la política exterior de Turquía. Desearía continuar mi discurso en castellano, pero para una mayor claridad continuaré en inglés. Thank you very much for the nice presentation and also for the excellent curriculum detail that you have shared with us. It was not actually that good. Having spent my lifetime in foreign service, also took my lifetime away from me, myself, my family. Turkey conducts a foreign policy guided by the principle of peace at home, peace in the world, as set out by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, founder of the Republic of Turkey. Turkey pursues a dynamic and visionary foreign policy with a view to steering the developments in a positive direction in a region where the impact of global changes are greatest. In this context, Turkey's multidimensional, constructive, proactive, realistic, and responsible foreign policy is one of the most important assets in realizing its national and international goals. Turkey's deep-rooted tradition of statehood and democracy, its advantages emanating from geography and history, its young and educated population, and dynamic economy plays a key role in the success of this policy. In addition, advances in our democracy and economy, as well as structural reforms in the country since early 2000s, made it possible for Turkey to pursue such a foreign policy. This works both ways. Our foreign policy endeavors foster access into new markets, while in turn, comprehensive relations with other democracies support our own democratic strides. I may say that Turkey has become a leading country that works to expand the sphere of peace and prosperity in its region, generate stability and security, help establish an order that paves the way for prosperity, human development, and lasting stability. Four fundamental elements of Turkey's multidimensional foreign policy are as follows: relations with neighboring countries and nearby basins, depth in our strategic relations, opening up to new geographies, assuming an effective role in international organizations and platforms. The primary objective in developing our relations with our neighbors and countries of nearby basins is to focus on opportunities for regional cooperation, to increase political dialogue, to build common economic interests through free trade agreements, preferential regimes, incentives, customs arrangements, and visa-free travel, and to enhance social cultural interaction. Central to this effort are the high-level cooperation councils with various countries, a unique model bringing together prime ministers and cabinet ministers from both sides to foster bilateral cooperation, to serve common interest in all possible fields. We have instituted 7 such arrangements at the head of state or head of government level. Taking a look at the Middle East, we can say that it is undergoing a historic transition process. Comprehensive and far-reaching transformations require long-term efforts with ups and downs. In certain countries of the region, the time-tested traditional institutions very well serve the local population's urge for being a part of the policy-making process. In some other countries, however, for various reasons, neither the transitional institutions nor modern inclusive systems are able to or allowed to function. A legitimate system of governance that reflects the will of other peoples needed. Turkey wishes to see the turmoil that causes the current security challenges that affect us all ended soon. Turkey will continue to support the peoples and the governments of the region in this direction. International community should not decrease its attention and support to the countries in transition. Over 3,000 people lost their lives in Syria as the regime chose to wage a war against the people and their legitimate demands since 5 years. After all, the bloodshed in Syria, a solution that would include the establishment, should not be expected. At this stage, stability of the country and the disposal of the establishment are directly correlated. The roadmap for the solution exists. A genuine political transition under the framework of the Geneva Communiqué. The act to act is important. We welcome the attitude and the inclusive policies of the new Iraqi government. We will continue to support the Iraqi government and people in all their efforts to maintain stability and construction of a workable, plural society, including their fight against ISIS. In the fight against terror, a tangible result can be achieved by addressing the root causes. We regard ISIS as a terrorist organization and a common enemy. ISIS is a direct product of the unsettled conflict in Syria. The role of the international coalition in fighting this group is important. Airstrikes alone will not solve the problem. Countering ISIS should be a part of a comprehensive strategy to eliminate the environment that breeds and feeds ISIS is a necessity. Nevertheless, Syria and Iraq should be treated as a single theater with respect to the fight against ISIS. The Egyptian administration has effectively blocked all legitimate political platforms through which opponents could have manifested their views. In addition to the thousands being imprisoned, hundreds of thousands are being marginalized and pushed underground towards radicalism. Therefore, in the long run, there is a risk of a new social outburst that would affect not only Egypt, but also the region. The key for a sustainable stability in Egypt is inclusiveness. The international community, and in particular our partners in the EU, should give the right message to the current administration to adopt a truly inclusive political system. Neither in Libya nor in Yemen we want to see attempts for an armed or military solution. All the problems should be resolved politically and through inclusive policies. Regarding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we believe it should be resolved through the realization of the two-state peace vision in accordance with international law, relevant UN Security Council resolutions, and Arab Peace Initiative. The international community has to fulfill its responsibility in reaching a just, comprehensive, and lasting peace, which will pave the way for the establishment of a sovereign, independent, and contiguous Palestinian state on the pre-1967 borders. Substantial progress was made in normalization process of our relations with Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu's apology concerning the Mavi Marmara attack in March 2013 was the initial step towards normalization. The compensation talks had reached to the final stage. Political will of Israel is needed in order to settle the compensation issue. Further progress in the normalization of our relations can be enhanced if Israel takes the necessary steps in fulfilling our demands on compensation and lifting the blockade in Gaza. We have strong will to maintain and further enhance the mutual understanding, trust, dialogue, and contacts with our neighbor Iran. The South Caucasus is home to rich energy resources which have further consolidated regional and global strategic importance of the region. The key strategic location of the South Caucasus makes it an area of growing importance in the contemporary security environment, particularly given the risk of regional instability and the potential threat to Western economic interests due to its energy resources and transport infrastructure. Today, having an enhanced strategic importance where peace, stability, and regional cooperation are most needed, South Caucasus occupies one of the unique places in Turkey's quest for peace, security, and prosperity in its entire neighborhood. In this respect, Turkey is fully committed to continuing to develop good neighborly relations based on mutual respect with all its neighbors in the South Caucasus. The region is crucial not only for Turkey's interest, but also for the interest of the EU and NATO as well. We believe that peaceful resolution of the conflicts in the region will create a favorable environment for sustainable peace, stability, and development in the region. In this context, we remain committed to our support of the territorial integrity, independence, and sovereignty of Azerbaijan and Georgia, and we will continue to support the efforts towards a peaceful settlement of the existing conflicts. Turkey's search for normalizing its relations with Armenia is part of its broader vision, which foresees cooperative and mutually beneficial relations among the countries of the Caucasus. The signature of protocols in Zurich in 2009 has been a culmination of Turkey's interest to normalize its relations with Armenia. We are ready to take the normalization process forward, including the implementation of the Zurich protocols. The protocols are still on the agenda of the Turkish Grand National Assembly. The Armenian side is not receptive to any new ideas coming from Turkey, especially prior to 24 April 2015, as shown by the latest move of President Sargsyan to recall the protocols from their parliament. We hope that Armenia will reconsider its position soon after April and engage in a meaningful dialogue with us. We have special interest in Central Asia, as we share special ties with these countries. At the moment, we have high-level strategic council mechanisms with Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, and the Cooperation Council with Tajikistan. We have unique partnership with Turkmenistan. Our relations with Uzbekistan are also redeveloping with high-level visits. In 2010, the Cooperation Council of Turkic-speaking states was established by Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Turkey to promote multilateral cooperation among member countries. There are also complementary organizations for multilateral cooperation among the Turkic states, namely Parliamentary Assembly of Turkic-speaking states, Joint Administration of Turkic Arts and Culture. Besides, the Turkic Academy and the Turkic Culture and Heritage Foundation are being established in Astana and Baku, respectively. We value our relations and consider Turkish-Russian cooperation as important for the well-being of our nations and our region. Our bilateral relations are on the right track. Cooperation in all fields is steadily rising. As of 2014, our trade turnover is $31 billion and the reciprocal investments have reached $10 billion each. Russia is also our leading energy supplier, and we are constructing our first nuclear power plant together in Akkuyu in Turkey. Number of Russian tourists visiting Turkey reached 4.5 million in 2014. Taking into account this dynamism, we established the High-Level Cooperation Council in 2010. Meeting annually at the heads of state level, the Council is a useful mechanism that helps us review and address main bilateral and international issues as needed. Regarding Ukraine, we fully support territorial integrity and sovereignty of this country. We believe that diplomacy is the only way to reach the stability. Pursuing a military solution to this conflict will be a mistake. Effects of sanctions on Russia are limited. Dialogue and engagement with Russia are important. In this framework, we note the intensifying contacts between EU countries and Russia at leaders level. We are glad to see that despite some violations and delays, Minsk agreement is gradually being implemented. The developments in eastern Ukraine should not deflect our attention from the situation in Crimea. We do not recognize illegal annexation of Crimea. Human rights situation of the Crimean Tatars is of great concern for us. We consider greater international awareness with regard to the human rights situation in Crimea is essential. Despite the overall positive climate in the Balkan region, numerous problems are still abound, such as high unemployment, especially significant levels of educated youth unemployment, lack of good governance, corruption, organized crime, extreme nationalism, and xenophobia. All these present high risks which require close monitoring. Therefore, we should keep a watchful eye on the creeping element of instability and do everything to prevent those elements from giving harm to this region. We should be cognizant of the necessity for a re-evaluation towards strengthening our cooperation within the region in order to face the emerging realities more efficiently. Contrary to the widely accepted premise, throughout various points in history, the Balkans enjoyed exemplary periods of interethnic, interreligious, and intercultural harmony, tolerance, and peaceful cohabitation, as well as creating sustained periods of dynamism and innovation in the economic, social, and cultural fields. I believe that these values and achievements are among our shared contemporary goals. We are developing our existing strategic relations by adding new dimensions. In this regard, we are deepening our cooperation with European and transatlantic political, economic, and security structures. Turkey's relationship with the United States, defined as a model partnership, spans diverse issues and wide geographies and continues forward in a spirit of multifaceted and equal partnership. We consider NATO as the linchpin of the transatlantic bond and Euro-Atlantic security, of which Turkey is an integral part. Turkey's membership to NATO is an inseparable part of her global identity. On its way to EU membership, conceived as a strategic choice, Turkey continues its efforts to bring the accession negotiations to a successful end. We are determined to continue to reform process with a view to presenting high standards to our citizens and to complying with the EU acquis. 14 chapters have been opened to negotiations so far. We expect the EU and its member states to facilitate the opening of all the remaining chapters to negotiations. Our relations, although without any doubt based on accession negotiations, are also being enriched through dialogue and various issues of mutual interest, such as high-level economic dialogue, energy dialogue, and updating the customs union. The EU is our main trade partner. Hence, economic and financial stability in the EU is important for us, and we are following the developments in the Union regarding the public debt and other factors affecting financial stability. The economic situation in the EU still raises concerns. The EU needs to continue to work on issues such as growth, employment, and competitiveness. We are concerned with the increase in the public support extended to political parties with an extremist discourse that is particularly xenophobic and anti-immigration. This tendency should not lead to an introverted European Union. We believe that the enlargement policy, which has always been the driving force of EU's soft power, should continue unabated. Turkey's accession to the EU will no doubt send out an unequivocal message to the world about the upholding of the universal values. It will also take away the strongest argument from those who wish to see the clash of civilizations. As far as energy field is concerned, I have to say that affordable and uninterrupted flow of energy sources are of significant importance for the economic development of our countries. Energy security is now increasingly associated with concepts such as foreign policy, national security, economic growth, and sustainable development. I would like to emphasize Turkey's full cognizance of its role based on its strategic position between the energy-producing and consuming countries. Located between the EU, Russia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, Turkey represents a key transit corridor of energy resources between the landlocked Caspian Basin and Western consumers' market. In other words, we maintain that the most viable route for uninterrupted and reliable flows of the resources from the greater Caspian, Eastern Mediterranean, and the Middle East, where 70% of the global proven hydrocarbon resources lie, to Europe is via Turkey. In this respect, I would like to reiterate Turkey's commitment to continue to engage both at regional and global scale to contribute to further enhancing global energy security and to the dialogue for sustainable and inclusive economic growth. Turkey's ever-expanding horizons require to follow all global developments to contribute to such developments. To the extent of our increasing capabilities, such as our ability to compete at the global level, is also linked to expanding our presence beyond adjoining geographies. In this framework, Turkey has developed policies of opening to Africa, Asia Pacific, and Latin America and the Caribbean. We identified new fields of cooperation, markets and investment opportunities, and started establishing appropriate political relations networks in regions which were previously considered as distant and too far away. Turkey was declared as a strategic partner of the continent by the African Union in 2008, and the first Turkey-Africa Cooperation Summit was held in Istanbul in August of that year. Turkey has also been accepted as a non-regional member of African Development Bank and furthered its relations with various regional and sub-regional organizations by accrediting its respective missions to the regional organizations of the continent. Turkey has been enhancing people-to-people contacts with Africa and is taking on responsibilities for addressing humanitarian issues and contributing to the development. Turkish Airlines has become a major international airline connecting the African continent to the world, while the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency carries out projects in 37 African countries through its 9 program coordination offices in the continent. Similarly, we are deepening and developing our relations with the countries of the Asia-Pacific region, a region fast becoming one of the world's most important economic centers of gravity. We elevated our relations with China, Indonesia, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and Malaysia to the strategic partnership level. Relations with the Pacific region also gained momentum. Turkey's relations with Asia Pacific are also developing via regional organizations. We aim to establish dialogue partnership with ASEAN, having already become party to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia in 2010. Likewise, Turkey is a dialogue partner with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and maintains a cooperation partnership with the Pacific Islands Forum, and has recently applied to raise its status to post-forum dialogue partner in this organization. Turkey's relations with the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, too, have gained momentum. As part of our efforts to broaden our diplomatic network, we now maintain 15 missions in the region. In accordance with the steps taken to develop our institutional ties with regional organizations, Turkey became a permanent observer to the Organization of American States in 1998, to the Association of Caribbean States in 2000, and most recently to the Pacific Alliance in 2013. Turkey established consultation and cooperation mechanisms with the Southern Common Market and the Caribbean Community in 2010 and 2011 respectively. Turkey also installed institutional relations with the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States in 2013. Turkey has become extra-regional observer to the Central American Integration System just 1 month ago. Talking about bilateral relations between Turkey and Argentina, I have to say that these diplomatic relations started almost more than 100 years ago, back in 1910. And later in 1936, our countries reciprocally established embassies in their capitals. Since then, we are enjoying very friendly relations between our two countries. And it is also very important to underline that we have no problems at all at bilateral level. And I hope to believe that we will not let any other issue that has nothing to do with our bilateral relations to intervene and to become a problem of our mutual concern. I must also underline that we have exemplary cooperation at the multilateral level. Just to name one is to say that Turkey has kindly supported the draft resolution which was presented by a number of countries, including Argentina, regarding the restructuring of the debt, state debts, last year in the United Nations. Also, Turkey supported Argentina's request to have an emphasis on this issue in the declaration of the G20 summit last year in Australia, Brisbane. I can easily go and say further things about our cooperation and coordination at the bilateral level and at the international level, but I would prefer to stop here and continue with the rest of my presentation. The fourth fundamental dimension of Turkey's foreign policy is to demonstrate an active profile and to play an effective role in multilateral institutions. Indeed, our policies based on principle and foresight have already significantly boosted our standing in the United Nations, taking over G20 presidency in 2015 and hosting the first ever World Humanitarian Summit in 2016. Turkey can create a powerful synergy with its contributions for a more peaceful, prosperous, and stable world at a critical time, hence ably provide significant added value to global peace and security in the current era of rapid change and transformation in regional and international affairs. Turkey's humanitarian assistance has been diversified and significantly increased in recent years. Turkey became the fourth largest donor worldwide, according to the Global Humanitarian Assistance Report, and the 16th contributor to UN budgets. In 2013, Turkey's humanitarian assistance reached $1,630,000,000, an almost twofold increase compared to the previous year. Furthermore, Turkey became a member of the Geneva Group on 15 May 2014 and the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Assistance Donor Support Group on 1st July 2014. Istanbul has also been designated as host city of the first ever World Humanitarian Summit to be held in May 2016. As an active member of the international donor community, Turkey is fully conscious of modern global responsibilities such as achieving environmental sustainability, combating diseases, fighting extreme poverty and hunger, offering education for all, reducing child mortality, etc. In 2013, Turkey's official development assistance, going mainly to the Middle East, Africa, South and Central Asia, and the Balkans, amounted to $3.3 billion US, placing Turkey in the 11th place on the list of OECD member countries providing official development assistance. Turkey's official development assistance corresponds to 0.43% of its gross national income, representing an almost 30% increase compared to 2012. Before I conclude, I wish to present to you the goals Turkey has for 2023, the 100th anniversary of the establishment of the Republic. Gross domestic product of $2 trillion US, which is at a range of $800 billion US to 850 US billion US dollars. Per capita income of $25,000 with a population of 82 million. Increased the employment rate by 10 points to a working population of 30 million. Reduced the unemployment rate to 5%. Increased primary and secondary schooling to 100%. 100% participation in health insurance system. Raised the number of physicians per 100,000 people to 210 physicians. Built 11,000 kilometers of new railway. Built 15,000 kilometers of divided highway. Construct one of the world's 10 largest ports. 8.5 million hectare irrigable land. Nationwide broadband subscribers. At least 3 operating nuclear power plants. Host 50 million tourists per year. Obtain 50 million US dollars of tourism revenue. Increased annual exports to 500 billion US dollars. Become one of the world's 10 largest economies with a 1.5% share in the world trade. With a well-educated, young, qualified and competitive population, an important domestic market, a competitive and dynamic private sector driven by globally successful entrepreneurial class, highly developed technological infrastructure in transportation, telecommunications, and energy sectors, an energy terminal and corridor in Europe, Asia, Middle East, and the Mediterranean, an accession country to the EU, and in customs union with the Union since 1996, Turkey is a strong emerging power in global economy. This complements its willingness and accentuates its ability to be a trustworthy international actor in generating peace and prosperity. I would like to conclude by saying that the political stability Turkey has been enjoying and the economic performance it has achieved have increased Turkey's capabilities to pursue a more rigorous and effective agenda to contribute to the stability and prosperity around the world in line with its women-oriented foreign policy. Gracias a todos, gracias a todas.
Muy bueno.